Now, I got this email, which I get a lot of emails, but Patty sends a lot of emails and Sarah sends emails, and a lot of you other subscribers, viewers send tons of emails, but this one in particular really kind of blew my mind. I will say, I'm trying to squeeze into this on camera.
Oh gosh.
And the rug. I'm about to move the whole camera, but
give me my leg.
Let me get in here.
Okay, get in.
I'm trying to avoid having this massive forehead, because like if I do it like that, it's just like, where'd the rest of his head go? So either way, what's most important is the information that I have to share with you. First and foremost being, as soon as I can pull it up, hopefully the mic audio is good, because I'm not running dual mics. I'm running one mic, but we don't have the wind noise in here like we did in my other studio from the fan blowing above me. So hopefully this sounds good, and you'll probably have to just speak up just a little bit.
Okay.
But it says all hands on deck, how Israel's vital tech sector is navigating the war. And here we go again, folks. We got a little bit of glare on this light. Sorry about that. It's still a challenge. It's a work in progress, but we are working on getting our studio put together, so this may not be an issue for much longer. And we also have a guest here with us.
He's showed his way in the middle.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to be in this video. I'm going to be in this podcast. You won't hear Max, but he's here in spirit. And let me know if any of this rings a bell or triggers anything for you in the research that you've been doing and the information that you're putting together for Squirrel Tribe. But it says that Israel's vast tech sector has seen its fair share of crises, from financial downturns in the COVID-19 pandemic to periodic flare-ups in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Each time the industry has bounced back, demonstrating why the country of just 9 million people is known as the world's startup nation. And as I'm reading this for the first time, this full article, I'm thinking about the video that you put together, where you did a deep dive on the ties and connections to our supply chain. Was any of that tech related?
Yes, a lot of it.
Oh boy.
Yes.
And what was the name of that video?
That's a really good question.
You got a lot of videos.
I got a lot of videos. I can't.
It was definitely not the one where everybody was commenting about your delivery on that video. That
was not that one.
It definitely wasn't that video. But
no, this one is the war in Israel will cause a hit on our supply chain. The cost of everything will skyrocket.
So go check that out. Much like I suggested, go check out Patrick Bet David, Valuetainment. There's a lot of really good and important information out there about not just the religious and the religious conflict and the massacre and the nightmare that's going on right now, which is unreal. And literally how these people can go over there and just be savages. But this information is going to shine light on ultimately, more than likely, how we're going to feel it here in America.
Yeah.
Regardless of your nationality or anything like that. Like I said before, our economies are all interconnected, and it's not just like state to state, or like this goes around the world.
And it feels selfish and wrong to look at how a war in another country is going to affect us, but it is something that has to be looked at. You can't only look at what's happening there without paying attention to how it will trickle out everywhere else.
I wouldn't say it's selfish. I would say it's wise and prudent to understand how you could potentially be impacted and how you can prepare yourself for that. There's no reason to walk into any situation blind if you can avoid it.
Yeah.
But the war sparked by the Hamas assault last weekend that killed more than 1,300 people in Israel has upended daily life in a way that presents a unique challenge to the country's most important industry. Schools have been ordered to close. Once bustling streets in Tel Aviv, the center of business, have virtually emptied and many businesses remain shut. Some are closed for security reasons, but many simply cannot operate because their employees have been called up to military service. Now, I'm not trying to, I wonder if they have many call centers based out of there in the tech industry, because that could cause a disruption. Or maybe they're going to reroute them to another country, or maybe like reroute them to the Philippines. I don't know if Philippines are doing, they might be doing it, but it says that this is different than anything we faced before. And this is Avi Hassan, the CEO of startup nation Central, a nonprofit that promotes Israel's tech industry globally. And he says, I think it's hard to find an Israeli that wasn't personally impacted by what has happened. There's a very high level of uncertainty right now on how this plays out. And you could probably catch more of that on CNN, where he gave an interview. But tech is the single biggest sector of the Israeli economy. Sentiment has already taken a hit before the war broke out. Some tech executives said government plans to weaken the judiciary spooked investors, worsening a global slowdown in fundraising for startups. The war's most immediate impact on tech firms has come through the workforce, as Israel has called up more than 300,000 military reservists to fight in the war, most of them working and studying in Israel, though some have returned from abroad. And I think there was a small window of opportunity for folks to get out today. It's like 6 hours or something they gave them. But yeah, there's so much going on, and I don't want to gloss over it, but I do want to share with you guys a lot of this information, but also not make the video too long. So if you want to go into a deeper discussion and expand further, then let me know. Next up, we got Bloomberg and reports of more jobs being lost, and a $650 million hit for Citibank from their severance costs for the 2,000 more jobs they're going to cut and the people they're going to lay off. Like, this is on top of, I think it was like 7,000 so far this year. I think it was 1,500 like last week.
What's crazy to me is that they have the ability to cut all these jobs and pay out $650 million just for 2,000, or that's all of it. No, $650 million.
I think it's total up to 650 now because of the 7,000.
So you're at $650 million to lay people off. Does that really, I'm guessing it would have cost how much more than that to keep them employed?
Well, that's like the insane amount of money that Meta, Zuckerberg, was paying to not use a building.
It was. Where was it? Cleveland?
No. This was in. This was over
overseas.
In the UK, I think. But Citigroup, we talked about the banks a lot, and some of the risks, the inherent risks that come with having your money in the bank and things like that. And if you want to know more about that, and diversifying and protecting and strategy and banks versus credit unions, and hit me up. But at Citigroup, huge bank here. Now, typically we hear from Wells Fargo, we hear from JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, but now we're hearing from Citigroup. And Citigroup trimmed headcount by another 2,000 jobs in the third quarter, bringing the firm's total severance charges for the year to $650 million, and the company has cut about 7,000 positions so far this year. And the CFO, Chief Financial Officer Mark Mason, said on a conference call with analysts discussing earnings that companies with $450 million in charges the bank had recorded at the end of June, and things are more than likely probably just going to continuously get worse. I would say that if you're in the banking industry, you might want to develop some sort of backup plan, is all I'm saying. I think Citigroup slashed like 5 layers of their managerial business. It's redundancy. Like, we're to the point now where they're going to get super lean. And this is what I was saying last year. But if your job can be done by someone else, or if your job can be made obsolete, or if your job can be done by AI, or if at the very least you have a job and people don't really know what you do, and you can't necessarily simply, quickly, and easily quantify how profitable you are for the business, you'll probably be cut. And then they'll wait and see where that void, what void that creates, because they don't know. And then maybe
they'll fill that one itty bitty void in the future. But
so either way, I'm not necessarily saying that this relates to what's happening in Israel, and in this Hamas war. But I would be willing to bet that just like we are doing our homework and getting better educated about the potential implications and the domino effect here, these businesses and banks are too. and have already been and have their finger on the pulse. So now they're just pulling the trigger. You know, it's kind of like, you know, if you're a sniper, you're not going to wait until the target approaches to then pull. You're a sniper. You've got that trigger back right before it breaks, and then you go ahead and it's like a glass break, basically. I think that's how they measure the weight of a trigger pull. But either way, we need to be aware of what's happening, what's going on. Gaza Strip size compared to U.S. cities in series of maps. According to Newsweek, I don't know if you guys saw this one, but it says that a series of maps shows how the Gaza Strip compares in size to some of the major U.S. cities, often being dwarfed by American metropolises. The Gaza Strip is one of the most densely, is this video? Some video from it. You guys probably seen it a million times. The Gaza Strip is one of the most densely populated regions in the world, with an estimated population of over 2.2 million in an area measuring just 141 square miles in total, meaning buildings in its urban areas are tightly grouped together.
It's like New York and Los Angeles had a even more tightly packed in baby.
By the UN population approximation, there are on average around 15,600 people in every square mile of the territory. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Compared to many sprawling cities in the U.S., the area it occupies is relatively minute. The Israeli government claims an area of 8,630 square miles, including the contested Golan Heights region claimed by Syria. It has an estimated population of 9.1 million, with density of around 1,135 people on average per square mile, owing to the nation's rural and desert regions, according to census stats.
Now, this is why having a 24-hour evacuation of the Gaza Strip is such a big deal. 24 hours for that many millions of people to get out, and where do they go and how do they get there?
So yeah, that's a bottleneck for sure. I wonder, this is not to be facetious or funny or anything like that, I wonder if they had bug out bags. I wonder if they had go bags.
Like if that's a known thing in certain areas. It's possible.
So it says that when its footprint is overlaid onto New York City, it covers an area roughly the size of Manhattan, the Bronx, and Hoboken, New Jersey combined. And you can, did you see that? Mm-hmm. So there's the overlay on the map. Sorry about the glare. And in contrast, the south of the Hamas-controlled region, which includes the cities of Rafah and Khan Yunis, covers nearly the entirety of Washington, D.C. when compared to Boston. Its shape and area spans from Route 93 to the south of Route 95 in the north. For many of the larger American cities, which have traditionally expanded into open countryside over time, the whole of Gaza fits within their borders. So this is an overlay of the boundaries of the Gaza Strip over Washington, D.C. Pretty cool. Pretty interesting. I mean, it's not cool, but it's like,
it is interesting.
It's interesting to see like how many people there in comparison to here in places that we know. So we've been to New York, we've been to DC, and we've been to Los Angeles, so we can quantify this. An overlay of the boundaries of the Gaza Strip over Los Angeles. You can see that. So that's a lot of people. They got another one over Seattle, Washington,
which we've also been to.
We've been there. You know, a war zone in its own right.
Yeah.
Gaza Strip over Boston. We haven't been.
We're supposed to go over the summer, but
we haven't
the
been
floods and everything
to Boston.
Stop that.
Gaza Strip over Denver.
I wonder if they have one over Atlanta.
Been to Denver. And Tampa, St. Petersburg, St. Pete.
Been there.
Been there. Don't want to go back. And Detroit. Never been.
Never going.
No plans. And yeah, I think that's it for the map overlays. But speaking of these major U.S. cities here in the United States of America, there's another one that I wanted to share with you, which was, I gotta find it. Oh, here it is. The Supreme Court. This one's important. Supreme Court, this is CNN. Again, thank you guys for sending me these emails. I really do appreciate it, with all this useful information that I can then somewhat compile and bring to you guys on these quick videos. But the Supreme Court to consider conservative effort to block federal power and a challenge to qualified immunity for police officers.
Immunity?
Is that what I said?
No. I don't know what you said.
I said a word that looked like immunity, but I don't know what it was.
I don't know what it was.
I'll have to check it in post. But the Supreme Court on Friday added another case to its docket that asked the justices to overturn decades-old precedent to scale back the power of federal agencies, as well as a case that looks at qualified immunity for police officers. The new case is a companion to a similar dispute involving herring fishermen that the justices have already agreed to hear his term. Although the court did not explain its thinking, it likely added the new case because Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson is recused from the first case, having dealt with it as a lower court judge before her elevation to the high court.
The high court.
The pair of, it sounds like one of those movies, like, I don't know, maybe it's like
Anything British?
Yeah, you go.
There you go.
The pair of cases represents a conservative attack on the so-called administrative state, and for decades, conservatives have argued that federal agencies are unaccountable to the public and have become too powerful in violation of the separation of powers. How the court decides the two cases could change the way the government tackles such issues as climate change, immigration, labor conditions, and public health.
It's a whole lot of things to change based off two cases.
That's a whole lot of power that they have so
Yeah.
far. But at issue in both appeals are herring fishermen in the Atlantic who say the National Marine Fisheries Service does not have the authority to require them to pay the salaries of government monitors who ride aboard the fishing vessels to make sure federal regulations are being followed.
I agree with them.
Yeah, I mean, this is an overreach and overstep of power, political power.
And to make somebody else pay for your overreach and overstep, that's where the problem comes in for me.
And, at first, I thought that this one's from the street. So we got word from the street.
From the streets.
I always want to make sure I show you guys it's from the street so you don't just think I'm just talking to random people walking up and down the street. But
Word on the street is.
But there's a guy on YouTube, I think, and he does, I think it's John Uche, and he does these two pictures, and it's like, who do you recognize? And he's like asking random people on the street, celebrity versus politician, like who people recognize more.
It'll always be celebrities. Unless it's a dumb politician.
So you got to be specific with that
there's
one.
A lot of those.
If it's AOC with her boobs hanging out, then people probably would recognize her. Like there's a whole TikTok channel devoted to AOC's boobs. Like,
is this when she was a waitress?
As her blouse is unbuttoned in Congress, and and people like all over her for this. But then you had that other lady, Anna something.
I don't know. But they don't say anything about these guys who are wearing pants that are 3 sizes too small.
I don't think they're doing that in Congress.
The bigger guys who their pants and
you
see all the
I thought you were talking about like
and rolls and stuff.
The skinny jean guys trying to
the rolls of quarters, dimes.
trying to print in the House in the Senate.
Yeah, that.
Anna Paulina Luna.
Oh, is that the?
What?
Does she have OnlyFans?
No. That was Gibson.
Okay, I can't remember.
And I think that was Virginia Gibson. What's her name?
Is there a wolf in there?
No.
Virginia Woolf. That's why my brain is like, don't worry about me.
Oh man.
My nail is peeling.
Let's see here. Susanna Gibson. That's who that was. So we got, the TikTok devoted to identifying when AOC is revealing cleavage. And then you have Anna Paulina Luna, who's, fighting for whatever cause she's fighting for in a bikini, which, I don't know.
Your constituents.
There's some talk about her and Trump and some of her activities in these scantily clad political campaigns. But then you also got Susanna Gibson and what she's doing and how she's generating tips to fund her campaign. So, and not just the tip that her husband is giving her. But
what if the men did the same thing? They put on really small bikini or bathing suit trunks and whatever and stood around holding their...
well, I'm thinking about it, and it could potentially be like, a fundraiser, like a car wash fundraiser, but you got a bunch of guys from Congress and like their Speedos doing car washes. But I don't think that a lot of people would want a lot of the folks in Congress in Speedos washing their cars.
No, please no.
They tried the whole
Please,
casual dress code thing. That didn't really work out too well.
No.
But I saw this one, and it was another food brand filing bankruptcy. And this is just par for the course. The banks are cutting jobs. We have global conflicts that are affecting us in a variety of ways. And it was Blue Harvest, I think, which was like a fishing company and processor producer or whatever. But they were like 400 or 500 million in the hole, and then they finally just decided to go bankrupt. But this one says that this company has made the move with the support of its lenders, and its fate remains undecided. But a bankruptcy filing comes with risks. Many Chapter 11 filings include a potential resolution, and in the documents filed with the bankruptcy court, the company shares a plan that it hopes to enact. Sometimes that includes notification that a bid has been made for the distressed assets. As we have recently learned with chains like Bed Bath & Beyond, Tuesday Morning, and Christmas tree shops, having a Chapter 11 plan does not always mean that a company survives. In those three cases, the retailers were hoping to find new financing and get some relief from their vendors. That did not happen due to a combination of factors. Currently, every company that files Chapter 11 bankruptcy faces a difficult market to raise money. Cash has gotten expensive due to higher interest rates. That has made banks more cautious, and vendors have been less willing to extend credit to companies that can't get cash to back up their orders. And then you factor in the other impacts of global conflict and uncertainty in the markets. I think it's just going to get tougher as time goes on. So the company here says that has led a number of companies that might have survived a Chapter 11 filing just a few years ago to end up being liquidated today. In the case of Prima Wawona, the industry's largest producer of stone fruit, the company is entering Chapter 11 bankruptcy with a clear plan, but recent news shows that plans can go wrong and there are no guarantees once courts are involved.
What is stone fruit?
Oh, I was about to ask you. Can you look it up?
And how do you just produce it? I guess because it didn't say growers, so it's not a real fruit.
It says while Prima Wawona may not be a brand. I'm not making this name
Prima.
up. Oh, Prima Wawona. That sounds real special.
What is stone fruit?
Okay, what you got?
What is considered a stone fruit? Officially, they're fruits with a fleshy exterior known as the mesocarp, covered with a skin, or exocarp that encases a stone or pit. So like peaches, plums, cherries, nectarines, apricots, and something else.
Learn something new every day.
But they said manufacturers of? Is that what they used?
Is the largest producer.
Okay, you can still use that for people who grow them. Okay.
And it says, while Primo Wawona may not be a brand name most people know, and stone fruit may not be a common term, the market for the company's products has been growing. It's also probably easier to think of the impact of this filing when you learn which well-known fruits are actually stone fruits. And this is exactly what I was talking about in the beginning of the video, where we need to be informed and educated as much as possible so that when we hear things like Primo Wawona and stone fruit, we understand how in the next few weeks we're going to see a huge price increase on stone fruit that we didn't know was stone fruit.
Okay.
You know, it's not just, oh, it's happening in another country, it doesn't affect me, but it does. And I'm not saying that Primo Wawona in another country, but I'm just saying like our economy is interconnected and interlaced, and it all has an impact on us all in some way, shape, or form.
So Primo Wawona was two different companies until 4 years ago, when a German farming and Girawan Farming and Wawona packing merged together to create Prima Wawona to become the largest stone fruit producer in the world. In the world, and they're filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Where's the support? Where's the backup? Where's the bailout for?
They are the America's
food
largest
supply?
peach producer.
Where's the food supply? Like, bankrupt food seller has, it's like last year and early this year we had supply chain issues and attacks on the health of our food.
Can't feel my legs.
The health of our food and our food's food being the cows dropping dead in the middle of nowhere, the avian flu situation. What else? Oh, we had that one company, that Chinese pork processing. They just closed down. They were just like, we're screw y'all, America. I don't remember the name of them.
Are you talking about Smithfield?
Yeah, is that what it was, Smithfield?
Well, yeah.
And but the thing is I think that moving forward, the new MO is going to be, it's not going to be health related. It's not going to be heat related or maybe climate change related, maybe drought related, because we already been through like fuel, diesel fuel and inputs and fertilizer. The other one is for sure going to be equipment and farming equipment and processing equipment, because they don't want to allow these owners and producers the right to repair. So that's its own issue in itself. But I think moving forward, we're going to see the new trend here is going to be, and we're going to see that guy on Fox Business or Fox News show, you know, let them eat cake. It's like, what?
That guy.
Mitch McConnell, he'll get up there and say, well, you should have saved all them stimulus checks because these prices are about to go up. Jerome Powell was right. Pain is going to be felt by families and businesses, and he meant every bit of that. But I think that moving forward, we're going to see just a new wave of bankruptcies that's going to wipe out food. If you can allow bankruptcy to wipe out the largest stone fruit producer in the world, what's next? Oh, I thought you had something there.
I did, but I've realized I'm going to do like a deeper dive in this because there's a lot in here.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, stay tuned. Check out Squirrel Trap because she'll probably have something going up tomorrow for sure. I don't know if you're going to do
Monday,
two
Tuesday,
tomorrow.
Wednesday.
I don't know if you're going to do two tomorrow, but a lot coming from Squirrel Trap for sure about specifically the food for sure. Some crazy stuff. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the podcast yet again. Smash the like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.